You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. It's been such a confusing build up to this week. Every time we walk into the sledging room, and usually we're prepared. We know what we're going to talk about, what we're going to fight about, and make it ugly. But this time, let's look at the week that's gone by. Obviously, last week we were euphoric over India's 1-0 victory in the Test series over the West Indies. This week, we've assembled here after an enthralling ODI series between India and the West Indies, who, by the way, have failed to qualify for the World Cup finals. India won that first game. Embarrassing defeat in the second ODI. Embarrassing. I'll come to the crux of it as well. And then, obviously, the star batter stepping up, Ishan Kishan, hitting his fourth successive half-century in the West Indies, including 3 in the ODI series, to follow up his maiden Test 50. Sanju Samson got some runs. Shubman Gill, thankfully, back in form with a swashbuckling 85. Hardik Pandya apparently played an MS Dhoni-like innings. Suryakumar Yadav not able to really make the most of it. Akshay smiling. Saurabh is itching to have a go. But I wanted to lay out the context of the times that we are in right now. Yes. Right? So Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. Rohit batted at number 8 in the first ODI.
Yes.
Virat didn't bat in the first game. And then the two stalwarts were rested for the remainder of the ODI series. Why and what is this chaotic build-up to the 2023 World Cup? Is this the most chaotic build-up to any World Cup for India? Because I can run my mind back to 2007 when Sachin Tendulkar was demoted to number 4. We all saw what happened there. 2011, by the time the World Cup came, all the top order batters were in supremely good form. You had 8 to 9 bowling options in that playing 11. 2015, unfortunately, we weren't good enough, mostly in the build-up to the World Cup, but under MS Dhoni, the team played brilliantly again, lost to Australia in the semi-final. 2019 again. Do you have a number 4? You went away from your leg break options, and there you were again just about losing a bit of a nail biter in the semi-finals. But 2023, Akshay, Saurabh, even more chaotic. Rahul Dravid was looking for answers. Yeah. Okay, I know you've been holding your breath, but have you found those answers is the question, with just about 2 months left for the World Cup. What answers have you found?
Raj, if you have by mistake, if your shirt is torn, you have a hole on your shirt.
Yeah.
Will you keep on complaining that, this manufacturer didn't make it properly, this manufacturer didn't make it properly, or try to stitch it and...
I'll buy a new shirt.
That's there. That is where. So look at him. You will buy a
new shirt.
You were looking for an answer. You got an answer.
You have given me the answer.
Okay.
You were looking for
what was your solution to stitch it?
No, to stitch it up, to mend it.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
come to the point.
Yeah, exactly. You'll buy a new shirt. That is exactly what India is.
We're not expert tailors. We're not expert.
No, that is exactly.
We're not textile experts.
That is exactly what Team India is doing.
They
have injury concerns.
Brand new shirts.
They are looking for new personnel to take up those spots.
Wait. Just that metaphor from torn shirts to new personnel. What?
You opted for the new shirt.
I'm trying to figure out that.
I'm
metaphor.
sorry, I'm confused.
When you were giving that opening monologue, When you were giving that opening monologue, I was looking for some better, analogies.
And
you did not get it. So you came up with this.
This is what you came up with.
But you have proven my point right.
What is the point?
What is this chaotic build-up? I don't understand. Yeah, they have tried around 12 people at number 4, 11 people at number 5. But you have to find solutions, right? You have to find solutions at some point. Raj, you can't just...
What's the solution? Where is the solution?
So
tell us the problem first.
I will tell you. I will ask you both one simple question. Do you agree with the resting of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma during the ODI series in West Indies?
I don't agree with it.
Can you explain yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
This is as simple as it gets.
Yeah.
You are going to play an ODI World Cup at home.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma is your captain, Virat Kohli is your former captain and your star batter. They need to play every ODI game. They can be rested in T20Is and tests also. But if you're playing an ODI World Cup, in the build-up to that, 2 months, I think 70 more days to go for the ODI World Cup, you have to play them every game. Why will you drop them when you are already short?
Rest. We haven't dropped
Sorry,
them.
sorry.
This is the last thing that this team management
Yeah,
will do.
sorry, I'm extremely sorry for that.
Yeah.
But when you are already short on players like KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, and Rishabh Pant, Bumrah is coming up, you need these players to play every game.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? You have benched them, you have rested them, whatever you have done. For what good? For trying players.
Yes.
Till when will you try new players? Tell me.
See,
No,
after the IPL.
Wait. No, take one step at a time.
Yeah.
So you are backing Rahul Dravid's opinion
experimenting.
where he wanted to experiment in the ODI series,
Yeah.
right? Again, with about 2 months to go for the World Cup.
Generally, I don't.
This
back
game.
what-
So this begs two questions. If you wanted to rest Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, I thought that was a great idea. Then why take them to the West Indies?
That is exactly
That's
where
one.
I'm coming.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Secondly, take your mind back to the Test series. What did Sunil Gavaskar say after that series? He said, "What new answers have India found out to their probing questions?
Yeah.
What Virat is going to get runs. Rohit is going to get runs. You should have tried out other batters."
In the Test series, right?
Now what happens is, the Indian team management listens to Sunil Gavaskar. Obviously, who wouldn't, in their sane minds, listen to cricket opinions from Sunil Gavaskar? I mean, how many people on this world understand cricket better than Sunil Gavaskar? So what does the team management do? They try to experiment in the ODIs. Whereas they should have probably experimented into the Test matches, because you're playing against an understand West Indies. You could have looked at, say, somebody like Sarfraz Khan, or given Ruturaj Gaikwad, since you've taken him in the Test team as well, you might as well have blooded him in and told either of Rohit or Virat. I don't think both of them should have been rested. Maybe taken one of them, say, you know what, Virat, sit out of this Test series. Let's try out a new number 4 and just as a backup, because you never know. Because Ajinkya Rahane, anyway, it was a disputable vice captaincy elevation, and then now he's failed.
Absolutely,
Who
yes.
knows what's going to happen when he goes to South Africa? Anyway, that we've already talked enough about Rahane. But this ODI setup is bizarre. You wanted to experiment. You had the last 2 years to do it. How much of... And now, you're experimenting. You're experimenting in the last stage of your preparation. Whereas your full strength 11 should have been playing by now.
Exactly.
Rahul Dravid is talking about injuries.
Yeah. Where is the full strength
Did
11?
the injuries happen overnight? Rishabh Pant's unfortunate accident happened in December. Which is about 7 months
ago,
back,
yeah.
right? KL Rahul got injured during the IPL, which is also 3 months down
After
the line.
that, how many ODIs have we played?
Before that, Shreyas Iyer, right? So these are two batsmen essentially who've been out of operation, and then you're hoping against hope that they are recovered, that they've recovered well enough to, let's say, play in the Asia Cup. Because last week we got to know Rohit, Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, along with Jasprit Bumrah, have started intense training at the NCA. You're right. How many ODIs have been played after? But you are so proud of your backup. You're so proud of your bench strength. You say a third Indian team can go and win tournaments. Where is that bench strength? That bench strength goes to the West Indies, loses against an understrength West Indies, the same team which failed to qualify for the World Cup. So it's all messed up. By the way, give me a proper playing 11 for the Indian team in the World Cup. You don't know.
That is the problem, right? If had KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer been fit, would anyone have questioned their places in the 11?
I would have.
In the
I
squad.
would have. I
Not
would have.
Shreyas Iyer is your
Iyer.
leading run scorer since the 2022 season.
No, but look at
in
the
ODIs.
last. Look at the last 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. Look at what did he? I don't even remember if he played in Bangladesh. Didn't do much. Didn't do much against Sri Lanka. I think that's where he got injured. After that, he hasn't played in international cricket. Shreyas Iyer's injury, by the way, fitness has been a concern anyway.
Absolutely.
The thing is, we get offended if certain
No, but
Ambati
this
Raidu or
is
Ajinkya
not
Rahane
the
gets
first
dropped
time. By the way,
before the 2019
is this
World
the
Cup.
first time that Shreyas Iyer has had an injury?
No.
He's had injury issues before. Point is, obviously, Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul fully fit, no disputes. No disputes. But they've had issues. Shreyas Iyer has had issues. KL Rahul has also had to miss out.
That
matches.
is where, if you look at the playing 11, that is why we have made it a round table, a musical chair, right? We have given opportunities to Suryakumar Yadav in the middle order.
No, this is
If
a
he
cricket
had
World
not-
Cup.
if
This
he
is
has
not some
not bagged
fancy
it-
musical chair con.
No, if he has not bagged the opportunities, the team management is not the one to be blamed, right?
I'll tell you what. Suryakumar Yadav, T20 revolution. He's revolutionized the way India have approached T20 batting.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. But I think he's also confused in the one-day setup. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to come slam bang at number 4, number 5? where your top three are going to play anchor roles. Okay, now you have Shubman Gill, who suddenly burst onto the scene, by the way, towards from, let's say, the start of 2023.
Yes.
Before that, you had Ishan Kishan, and you thought, okay, Ishan Kishan could be one of them. He scored 210 against Bangladesh. In comes Shubman Gill at the start of 2023, and okay, Shubman Gill is now potentially right up there. Now Ishan Kishan has scored 3 successive half centuries in the West Indies, and you're like, oh wow, you know what, he can be your number 3. Sanju Samson scores a 70 odd against the West Indies, and suddenly like, okay, maybe he's your next number 4. So that is the lack of role clarity right now. Since you're trying out so many options 2 months before the West Indies tour, you had ample opportunities to do that in those 2 years.
Yes.
Injuries taken into account. By the way, even with Jasprit Bumrah's injury, Jasprit Bumrah has been injured for over a year. He hasn't played international cricket for over a year. He comes back as captain for Ireland.
For Jasprit Bumrah.
You haven't given Ruturaj Gaikwad enough opportunities. You took Rahul Tripathi to the West Indies. How many opportunities has he gotten?
Talk about Sanju Samson.
Sanju Samson is in and out. I wouldn't want to be Sanju Samson.
In 2022, he averaged around 17 ODIs. But I think he picked up an injury against Sri Lanka in the T20I series, and then he couldn't play the ODIs.
Yes.
If both of you naysayers, you guys don't treat the problems as problems. You think the team management reluctantly, as in purposely, messed this up. Sanju Samson, you're talking about bringing Sanju Samson back from the cold. He was injured during the Sri Lanka ODIs at home. And then he was not picked for New Zealand because of his fitness, maybe. So, the ODI series after that is the West Indies ODIs. You obviously brought him back, gave him opportunities, and he has done well. What more do you want from this Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma-led team management? That is something I'm not understanding.
So you are very happy with whatever they have done, right?
I am not very happy, but with the injuries to star players.
I will like to ask you one simple question.
Yeah.
If you talk about teams like Australia, Pakistan, England, you can name their playing 11.
But they don't have a lot of injury concerns to their key players, right?
One moment.
Come on.
Shreyas Iyer.
No. Again, that is not the... I concede. I concede that, yes, had these injuries not happened, obviously India would have probably looked a little better.
Yes.
Right? Now, what am I saying? I'm saying that now you're experimenting with all these numbers and positions barely 2 months out from the World Cup.
Yeah.
You should have had backups before. You're going to name only 15 for the World Cup, right?
Yes.
Were you even sure of that? Look, Shreyas Iyer, yes, he's been among India's best performers in the ODI format for a reasonably good period of time. Yeah. But who did those performances come against? Go back to Bangladesh, runs from Shreyas Iyer. Go back to Sri Lanka. I think that was the last time he played for India before that injury. Performances. Shreyas Iyer's performances were at their peak at the start of 2021 or thereabout, right? Even in 2022, how many ODIs did he end up playing? I mean, just look up those numbers. But that's the chaotic build-up I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You have played musical chairs with Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan. You brought in Rahul Tripathi. Weren't the matches in the West Indies or Zimbabwe last year great opportunities to also test out your bench strength? How much of that bench strength did you test? You're taking Shikhar Dhawan on those tours. You're taking Shikhar Dhawan as what? Is he even in the contention now? Is he even in the contention?
You never know.
I mean, now you've answered my question.
Yes.
It's that confused state of build-up. So basically, okay, now you're talking about Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul. So maybe 7 months back, or 8 months back, I would have looked at, and before Rishabh Pant's accident, I would have probably looked at my batting lineup as Rohit, Gill ? Because Gill only became a surety at the start of this year. He did score 100 in Zimbabwe last year, but was Gill even a surety back then? No. Because you were toying with the idea of taking Shikhar Dhawan to the World Cup. Number 3, Virat Kohli, who was in horrendous form back then. I mean, even now his ODI form is still far from recovered because those hundreds have come against Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I'm still talking about that. Your number 4 would have been possibly Shreyas Iyer. Your number 5 would have possibly been KL Rahul. Now suddenly Suryakumar Yadav bursts into the scene.
Raj, he has been playing ODIs since the start of 2022.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, that after the spate of injury. So you're talking of 2 batsmen who are now missing out, and you don't have adequate replacements for just 2 batters. And now you're racing against time. Why did you not have those replacements ready is the question. Because you were experimenting before the World Cup, because you want to look at your other combinations. Shouldn't those experiments have happened way, way before?
Exactly.
Shouldn't you have looked at... World-class teams, by the way, have like-for-like replacements for every first 11 that they pick. You don't have that.
Yeah, you leave every other team. Talk about India winning that World Cup in 2011. You had replacement. You had your team lined up. 2 months before the World Cup, you know who was going to play. And
Very good point. Sorry, I'll cut you in. Yusuf Pathan injured, Suresh Raina stepped
Yes.
in. Yuvraj Singh all-rounder. Tendulkar is anyway replaceable. So you had that kind of lineup. You
Exactly.
don't have that now.
You are going to play a World Cup at home. You are talking about Bumrah. For example, Bumrah. Bumrah is going to come back and he is straight away the captain of a T20I side. Why not ask him to play Devra Trophy if he's fit enough? You would have tried and tested him in Indian conditions. You are going to play that World Cup in India only, right?
Your point is,
My point
Injury.
is, these
as
late
if these injuries happen now.
these late experiments shouldn't be criticized, because how else will you arrive on a good combination?
These experiments are happening because you don't have adequate backup, because you haven't tested players.
But what
when
will
you
you
took
do?
Rahul Tripathi on a tour, you're still playing Shikhar Dhawan. Those are the missed opportunities. This is not the time to experiment. Even with these injuries, even if you take these injuries into
Whom
account.
did they rest? They did not rest someone like Hardik Pandya. They rested Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, who are sure shot starters and who are sure start
Did
gonna
Hardik
go
Pandya go to
score
the West
500,
Indies?
score 500 runs in the World Cup.
What? Virat Kohli, with this form, he shouldn't have been
Home
rested
World
anyway.
Cup.
Exactly.
Even
Virat
by
Kohli-
your logic, we have matches against
Akshay.
low-ranked teams. 500 sure
But
shot.
where is Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma coming into the picture anyway? My point is,
Yeah.
should KL Rahul have gone to the West Indies, because even then you were sure that you would have taken him to the T20 series, T20 World Cup, right? Should Shikhar Dhawan have gone? Shouldn't Rahul Tripathi have got a longer rope? You had ODI. By the way, it's not like you didn't have these ODIs lined up. You had 3 against Bangladesh, you had 3 against Sri Lanka, you had 3 against New Zealand, you had 3 against Australia. You had 12 ODIs before the season even got over, and you headed to the IPL. So you had plenty of ODIs. Last year, how many ODIs did you have? You went to the West Indies. Did you also not play ODIs in Zimbabwe? So, I mean, it's right now is very, very screwed up. It's very, very messed up, because you have landed yourself in this hot soup because of your reluctance to look beyond a particular set of players. Imagine how many chances Sanju Samson has got, despite his performances. Remember that series against South Africa last year, right? Where Ishan Kishan got some runs. Sanju Samson almost pulled off a heist for India.
Exactly.
What happened there? Thereafter, how many ODIs has Sanju Samson played in?
Cause of injury is what I explained, Raj. Sri Lanka ODIs. At the start of the new year, he had injuries.
Who had injuries?
Both of you have come here with a mindset to criticize Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma. But this is the most logical thing that they could have done.
I'll cut you.
Yeah.
The problem of Indian cricket.
Yeah.
The problem of Indian cricket is fans like you. You should back the team management when you need to back them. But why are you not questioning them? You are 2 months away from a World Cup. Your playing 11 is not ready. Now you are crying about experiments and you are crying about...
This is not the time for
only
experiments.
thing-
Exactly.
the
This
only
is not
thing-
that. I'll tell you. I'll answer you. No. The agenda is not to attack the team management.
Yeah,
The agenda is
of
to
course.
ask questions.
Yeah.
Right? The questions are 4 questions.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, these injuries are not new injuries. These injuries happened in December for Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul during the IPL, and before that, Shreyas Iyer.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. How many ODIs have been played after that? 9 ODIs. My point is, again, very simple. Shreyas Iyer hasn't been in the team for 3 or 4 years. Shreyas Iyer is a model. I mean, he started off his career, mysteriously disappeared, and then again reappeared, started scoring runs. Shreyas Iyer again wasn't a certainty, in my opinion, because you still have doubts over his ability to play pace overseas, and maybe
When he
even
was
in
there
India,
in the 11 only, we
even in India,
included Suryakumar
even in-
Yadav. I
Exactly.
agree with
So
that.
that is
Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
where Suryakumar. So it's
But
Shreyas
he
Iyer-
averaged 55 from 17 ODIs
no,
in
no, no,
2022.
But you have to look at conditions also. Even in the World Cup, you're playing against top teams. It's not easy, right? You suddenly don't come up against an Australian pace attack or an England bowling attack, or you just don't just start scoring runs like that. So basically, your backup wasn't ready. You bet on Suryakumar Yadav as a like for like, not a like for like replacement, but as a backup for Shreyas Iyer. He hasn't come through. How many of these guys have got an extended run like Suryakumar Yadav? Not Sanju Samson. That is my whole point. The whole point
Exactly.
is not about, injuries. Again, obviously, like I keep repeating, these injuries didn't happen overnight. You did not have a good enough backup in Shreyas Iyer for Shreyas Iyer, and you've given Suryakumar Yadav way too many opportunities. Even before those golden ducks against Australia, he had way too many opportunities. My other problem is you bet too much on Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah.
When you could tell, or supposedly tell Riddhiman Saha that his time was over, what had Shikhar Dhawan done to deserve that kind of rope last year?
Consistent 50s at a strike rate
At
of
a strike
70.
rate of 70.
When?
Whenever he toured Sri Lanka
So,
as captains,
I haven't even begun with the bowling.
Absolutely.
You take Akshar Patel, you think, okay, he's a decent all-rounder to have. He bowls
slot
2
him at
overs.
number
and then
four.
he plays at number 4 and then he bowls 2 or 3 overs, not picked for the third ODI.
Raj, we are
Mukesh Kumar making his debut just before the World Cup. Is he going to play in the World Cup? Is Jaydev Unadkat going to play in the
Mukesh
World
Kumar
Cup?
is in the Asia Cup squad.
Is Jaydev Unadkat in the World Cup? Is going to be in the lineup for the World Cup? Right? Siraj, sore ankle, precautionary measure, you send him back home. Hardik Pandya still not bowling close to 10
very
overs.
sparse overs. Umran Malik.
Again, Umran Malik is not going to be in the World Cup squad. The World Cup bowlers, Bumrah, recovering, he'll be in Ireland. Shami, not playing international cricket. We don't know whether Siraj, hopefully it's just a precautionary measure. And talking about experiments, no matches for Yuzvendra Chahal on the tour of the West Indies.
And what has that guy done?
So,
he's not getting any games.
You talking about batting, by the way, that whole logic about attacking the team management, these are the questions. This is as far as the batting is concerned. Now this is the bowling. Who's your wicket keeper? Who's your number 4? Who's your number 5?
yes.
Suryakumar Yadav suddenly drafts into number 6, obviously because there is no other option. He's tried at number 4, not performing. Tried at number 5, not performing. Now last resort is number 6. I'm sure he won't bat at number 8 or I'm sure he won't open with
We have
Shubman
to
Gill.
rightly question also the NCA about what they do, about their fitness program.
Injury
and all
management
that.
is also part of the team
Exactly.
management's KRA, I'm sure.
Yeah. But it is being taken care by the NCA, right? When Rahul Dravid was the NCA chief also, a couple of players were reluctant to go to the NCA to have injury management, right?
Tell me something. On the tour of Ireland, Bumrah recovered. He's recovering at the NCA alongside KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer. Did either of them feature on the tour of Ireland apart from Bumrah? Why no Iyer? Is he still not? That means he's still not functional.
But the
KL
BCCI
Rahul is
press
still not
release
functional?
certainly states that they are
They're
close to
intensely
full
practicing,
fitness and intensely practicing at the NCA.
Then why aren't these two batters on the tour of Ireland? So are you going to play them straight at the Asia Cup? Also remember, the World Cup squad is going to be announced
That is exactly
one month before the World
That
Cup.
is exactly where I'm coming.
Which is
You have to announce it on September 5.
Which means what? That the Asia Cup squad is more or less the World Cup squad,
Exactly.
and more or less the squad that will take on Australia before the World Cup.
India will play their first match in the Asia Cup against Pakistan on September 2. 3 days later, you have to announce your World Cup squad. So based on that one match, you can't take these calls. That is why these experiments have happened.
Suddenly you've changed your tone.
No, that
Suddenly
is why
you've
this-
changed your
So
tune.
you are
basically,
I was
you are now
coming here.
you are also now
I
pushing
was
the team
coming
management.
here.
basically, yes. Okay,
No, I
just
am
to
not
sum it
questioning
up.
the team management.
I'll
I'm
sum
saying
it up.
you have only one game before the ODI World Cup squad announcement.
Akshay, because we've spoken about several players, but let's just to sum it up. The whole crux of this argument.
actually,
Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul, had they been fit, no question. Fewer questions. I wouldn't say no questions.
Yeah,
Just fewer
questions.
Right? Even their consistency. KL Rahul's consistency in ODIs, by the way, is also a bit disconcerting. He's played a few good knocks at number 5.
Number 5.
But chasing 360, he hasn't been put through those tests because you haven't experimented long enough there. KL Rahul was once an opener
Yes.
in one-day cricket. Then he was shifted down to the middle order once, I think, against New Zealand in early 2020, then against England in that ODI series at home in 2021. Got some runs. And then off late before his injury, right? He was batting in the middle order. So you more or less assured that KL Rahul is batting in the middle order. But that heft was also controlled by Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja and Hardik Pandya. So that lower order is now missing. Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja without Rishabh Pant, you have to take into account that sort of finishing combination as well. You need, for Hardik Pandya and Jadeja to flourish, you need someone like Rishabh Pant in between or maybe steering those two. So you are in a bit of a spot. My point is, even if you weren't looking at these injury concerns, right? Even if you were taking into factor these injury concerns, you should have had backups because you're so proud and so arrogant about so many team combinations that we can field. Where are those team combinations and where are those players?
You're playing Asian Games. Winning a gold medal in Asian Games is also big.
No, of course it's important. Of course it is
So
big.
the World Cup is not important.
I'm not
That
saying
is what
that.
you're
also,
saying.
Also is a word that I use.
No.
Okay, let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
Let's, give the team management a breather now. And I'll ask you, if Shreyas Iyer is not fit for the World Cup and Asia Cup, whom will you play at number 4?
Sorry, who is not?
Shreyas Iyer. You have done so many
Wait a minute.
experiments.
So you mean to say if Shreyas Iyer is fit, in time. So he's an automatic selection.
Yeah, he
now.
walks in at number 4.
That is what we have. Our Indian team culture has been always, right? An established batter coming back after injury will get opportunities.
Established. Shreyas Iyer is now an established batter.
Established ODI batter, in my view, 55 average in 17 matches in 2022.
On flat pitches in India. In the World Cup, you're facing
In the World
different bowling
you are
attacks.
playing
By
in-
the way,
yeah.
by the way, you're playing Australia, you're playing England, you're playing South Africa, you're playing Pakistan, you're playing
Okay,
Afghanistan.
who's your number 4 batter in the World
I
Cup?
don't
Tell
know.
me.
That's the point. That is the point. I'll try and sum up a number 11.
Yeah.
Okay, our viewers, our
Playing
listeners,
11, right.
Yes, playing
all
11
of
for
us,
the World
let's-
Cup.
Let's just pitch in. Okay, Rohit, tick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shubman Gill, tick. Virat Kohli, number 3, tick. Number 4 is a huge question mark. Number 5, Hardik Pandya, possibly. Number 6, Sky. Number 7, Jadeja. Number 8, number 9, Bumrah. Siraj, Shami.
Yeah.
Who's your number 8? Kuldeep or Chahal?
Yeah.
You never know, it could be Ashwin out of the blue.
Ashwin comes back.
What about KL Rahul? You've dropped KL Rahul.
Where is KL Rahul?
Is he playing under cricket? Is he
He's-
fit?
If fit, I would. Okay, you're
If
playing
fit.
11. Yeah.
Exactly, if fit.
So-
That is the main question
I mean,
here.
So,
If-
on the
if-
basis of Suryakumar scoring a quick fire 35 in the third ODI in West Indies, you have picked him and
Not
slotted
me.
him at number
Not
6.
me. This is what your team management is doing.
Okay.
Suddenly, because now I'm reading reports that Suryakumar Yadav is India's new number
six.
6 experiment. Oh, where else will you play him?
Yeah.
He has not performed at number 4 in ODIs, number 5 in ODIs.
That brings
Obviously,
me to this
that brings you
question.
number 2, number
that
6.
brings me to this question. Did the team management actually hamper Suryakumar's confidence?
I think so because he was confused.
He
Look,
did,
yeah.
Could be, right? You're
At the
asking him to
start-
be a 360-degree player.
Exactly.
Your openers are not giving you flyers.
Yeah.
Your number 3 is going to also drop anchor. You don't know who your number 4 is. I still possibly Hardik Pandya is your number 5.
Yeah.
Sanju Samson, let's assume that Iyer and KL are not fit. Ishan or Sanju will be your number 4.
Yeah.
And you've suddenly thrust that role on Suryakumar Yadav when he was batting at number 4 and number 5. And he's wondering, where have I landed myself in? Am I playing too many shots early? T20, the approach in a T20 game and in a one-day international is obviously very different. So
Absolutely.
I think part of the blame also lies with the management.
It does, obviously. If you see the numbers, Suryakumar Yadav has been batting at number 3, at number 4, at number 5, number 6. He does not have a role clarity from the team management. And that approach in T20I which has paid for him, that going on and banging out sixes and boundaries, that is not the same kind of attitude you need to have in ODIs if you're batting the middle order.
But I do think that the team management wanted that attitude at the start from him. Just because Shreyas Iyer had issues with the strike rate, why did they otherwise bring Suryakumar Yadav into this ODI setup? They wanted someone to go bang bang, but that move didn't work. Now they want him to play
Bang bang
in a
at what
different
number?
approach. That is the question, na? At number 4, maybe facing the spinners from over to 15, from 15 and 30. Now they want him to play at number 6. Obviously, a player will be confused,
But
but
basically, you're agreeing with what I said, that this is a
but
completely messed up preparation.
But I would also blame Suryakumar Yadav for not taking up those
any
opportunities.
player will be blamed for
17
not,
innings without a 50 in ODI cricket.
Yeah,
and he's also gotten 17 ODIs there.
Yes.
At a time when you should have been experimenting. At a time when you should have kept some backup options ready. At a time when someone like Sanju Samson probably deserved to play at least 10 of those games. At a time when Rahul Tripathi could have had a look in. Why wouldn't you give him a look in against Sri Lanka or New Zealand or against Australia for that matter? If you're hell-bent on experimenting against the West Indies, why weren't you so determined to
No, I am not. What I am saying
So
is...
Virat Kohli answered those questions in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Good. You could have rested him for New Zealand and Australia also.
Yes.
That's my point. Now you're 6 ODIs.
No, but there
There
is
were
also,
3
there is
ODIs
also
now.
an image
There were
problem, right?
6.
The BCCI selectors don't attend press conference. Okay, and you've already... I don't know whether you have dropped them from the T20I squad or rested them from the T20I squad, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli.
We don't know.
You have been dropping them for the last 3-4 series.
We don't know.
And suddenly, if they are not in the ODI team also, then the team environment might not be good. So we have to think about all that.
Where is this going?
Where is
No, I'm saying the
So
image
Akshay
also
is-
matters.
Akshay has been caught.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying
He's not
that was a
agreeing.
sarcastic take on what has
I
happened.
sometimes don't understand when you're sarcastic
See,
and when
yeah.
you're actually
Exactly.
siding up
That
and
is-
being an apologist for this team management because
Yeah.
the problem is
No,
there
I'm
were-
not saying
there were
that.
ODIs.
I'm agreeing with your point. I'm agreeing with your point. I'm agreeing with your
If you're
point.
in dire need of experimentation now,
Yeah.
you could have
That is
experimented
exactly-
in Bangladesh.
Yes.
You could have experimented
I
in
am
those 9 ODIs
Yeah, you
before
played
the
so many
IPL
ODIs.
started.
I am agreeing with your point
12
that
ODIs.
you could have experimented over the last 12-24 months also, but there is no harm in doing that now. But there is no harm in the sense They have to do it now. They are
There
in a
is
desperate
harm.
position.
There is harm because 2 months before the World Cup, you should be playing your full potential.
But
full
where
11.
is the full strength
That
11
is
now?
where so that's you have to now agree. You have to agree with the both of us that you kept on saying that you're attacking the team management. No, Shreyas Iyer was injured. Yes, obviously, had they been fit, there are always ifs and buts in sport. Had Zidane not been red carded in 2006,
Exactly.
who knows what could have happened? Who knows what could have happened? So what is this argument that if and buts are there? It's not just in sport and every facet of life. So, I mean, you lost great opportunities since last year. West Indies, Zimbabwe. You lost opportunities against Bangladesh. You anyway lost that series with the full strength batting lineup.
Bangladesh, Sri Lanka,
New Zealand,
Australia.
If
You played so many ODIs.
you didn't want to, your focus is not on winning bilateral series, right? You should have tried that at home also.
Exactly. You guys have qualms over that also. If India keep on winning bilaterals and lose major tournaments, there is an issue.
What did you say?
But
What did you tell me off the record
Yeah.
when we were having chai last afternoon? You said,
Yeah.
I want India to lose the series against the West Indies.
Exactly,
So that
because, more experiments. Even I didn't say that I want
but
India.
the coach is,
I wouldn't
but
mind
the
if
team-
India
the
lose
team
on the cost of
management- The team
experiments.
management has indicated that they
Yeah.
wouldn't have, been so they wouldn't have fretted a series loss against the West Indies. So you could have had that same attitude against Australia, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka earlier this year. We don't care. Let's lose. But no, when you're winning those series, so that if by chance you don't make it to the semi-finals of the World Cup or no, but we beat Sri Lanka 3-0, we beat New Zealand 3-0. You lost to Australia anyway. You lost to Bangladesh. I mean, come on.
What should the team do?
team
Criticism
should-
from both ways. If you lose bilaterals,
That
it's
is-
a problem.
no,
If you win bilaterals, it's a problem.
You know what is the
Trust
biggest
me,
problem?
there
You know
would
what
be
is the-
no problems losing bilaterals if we
Yes.
can win the World Cup.
That is the biggest problem. That is what he pointed out right now. You have to win an ICC tournament. You won an ODI World Cup 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Your last ICC trophy came 10 years ago.
2013.
That is the biggest problem. If you are in big top 3, England, Australia, India, New Zealand top 4, you have to win ICC tournaments. England have won, Australia have won, even New Zealand have won. What are you doing?
I'll give you a non-cricket example. PV Sindhu, right? Back-to-back Olympic medals, right? She hasn't had a great run since Tokyo. You headed to Paris next year. Even if she doesn't win a single tournament now, wins in Paris, fair enough.
Yeah, nobody is going to remember
Neeraj
what.
touches 90 in Paris, wins gold or silver. Good enough. Now you're talking about when will Neeraj touch the 90 mark? Let him do it at the Olympics. Let him touch 89 and win gold for us again. Great.
Absolutely.
That's where it has to go. No, nobody would have had a problem with them losing a series to... We weren't overtly critical when India lost the series to Australia. It's okay. But my problem was that you didn't blood new talent there. You are not new talent entirely, just looking at you didn't look at your backups there.
Yeah.
You didn't look at your backups against Sri Lanka, did you? And understand New Zealand. You didn't do that. You didn't do that against Bangladesh. The problem was not losing to Bangladesh. The problem was the way you approach the series. There are no plans, at least not visible. And then this confused state of selection, this confused aura. No, you playing a full strength team against the West Indies. Sunil Gavaskar is critical of you. And the next day, like a bunch of schoolboys, you are trying to hide
former
behind
India
that argument.
wicketkeeper Sabha was extremely critical of this. Not about the experiments. He said, try as many players you want, but bat them at their own positions. Bat them at the positions that they'll be comfortable with. Sanju Samson coming back after 8 months to international cricket. He gets a chance at number 3 in the second ODI. Akshar Patel, of all people, as in, I'm not denying his batting credentials, but
You're playing him at number 4.
Number 4, why? Are you going to look at him as number 4 in the World Cup? But one question, Raj. Both of you were mentioning about Yuzvendra Chahal. Do you see him going to the World Cup? As in, from evidence in the West Indies, 3 ODIs, he didn't play.
If you ask me, it doesn't look like he in the team management's plan.
Yeah.
Because he's not playing any game. If you want to pick him for an ODI World Cup, you need to make him play international ODIs.
Yeah.
He's not playing those ODIs. Kuldeep is playing. I think Kuldeep is way ahead of Chahal in the pecking order.
No, but there is a catch there. Kuldeep and Chahal did not have Chahal had a good 2022. It's not like he did not have a good 2022.
I am not saying that Chahal is not performing. I am saying that you talk about the team management plan. He's not playing. It doesn't look like he's in the plan because every other player got a chance in that ODI series except Chahal.
are we also are the bowlers facing the brunt of the batting order's weakness?
No, I think individual players are being affected in their own ways. I'll tell you what Venkatesh Prasad also tweeted, right? He says, despite the money and the power, we have become used to celebrating mediocrity and far from how champion sides are. Every team plays to win, and so does India, but their approach and attitude is a factor. He said, Test cricket aside, India has been ordinary in the other two formats for quite some time now. Lost an ODI series against Bangladesh, South Africa, and Australia. Poor in the last two T20 World Cups. Neither are we an exciting team like England, nor are we brutal like Australia. Which is true. Because it's your lack of... You, by the way, your batting approach is outdated in both T20 as well as the one-day format, right? Your bowlers... Exactly, Yuzvendra Chahal is a good point in case because he's been one of your most successful bowlers in the shorter formats. He doesn't find a place in the West Indies lineup.
For instance,
so are you, by the way, then telling us that Chahal is also a short entry into the World Cup playing 11 because he was there and you didn't pick him? So that could be one way to look at it. Also, not just in one-day cricket, in Test cricket, you have picked bowlers who can bat essentially because you don't trust your top order.
That is exactly where I'm
So that's why
coming
you have
to.
Jadeja, Kuldeep, and Akshar Patel. Kuldeep, you have
That
started
is exactly
trusting
where
Kuldeep
I'm
Patel,
coming to.
Kuldeep
If
Yadav.
there is a situation where you have to play 3 spinners in a match, for instance on a dry pitch in Chennai in October, would you play Akshar, Jadeja and Kuldeep, or Kuldeep, Chahal and Jadeja?
I think what they'll do is look at Akshar because on a dry track which assists spin, they will not trust the top order because
Exactly.
you will not want to admit that Virat Kohli has seething issues against spin, especially against wrist spin.
That is
Nobody
where
will
I'm
talk
coming
about
to.
it. The moment you talk about it, there will be comments right here on this very video. I'm sure there will be comments and saying, "Oh, who are you to talk about Virat Kohli?" This is why people don't want to talk about
certainly
Virat
think
Kohli.
that Chahal is facing the brunt of a not so good batting order. The batting order that is not in good form. From 2017 to 2019, Chahal and Kuldeep played 34 ODIs together. Since the 2019 World Cup final, they have played 3 ODIs together. What stops them from playing 2 wrist spinners? Only the batting frailty, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because
Exactly, yes.
2017, in the 2017 Champions Trophy, you fretted the fact that you did not have good enough wrist spinners. After that, you were blessed with the likes of Kuldeep and Chahal.
Yeah.
You tormented them in South Africa. By 2019, again, that experimentation was gone. After 2019, nobody knows where these two land up together.
Chahal-
At least, even with senior players, they have to take up responsibilities. At least when Hardik Pandya, he comes on with the new ball. He wants to take up responsibilities with the bat. How many of your senior players have done that? Virat Kohli repeatedly failing against better bowling attacks. He failed against Australia in the WTC final. Scathing criticism from Sunil Gavaskar. Gets runs against the West Indies and his collar is back on again. He's mocking a West Indies number 11. And then you are not 2 months out from the World Cup. You're not even playing your first 11 because you don't know who your first 11 is.
Chahal might
And
just
you're talking about
finish his
injuries. The
career.
coach is talking about injuries. The injury didn't happen overnight. Yeah.
Chahal might just finish his career without playing a World Cup.
What
Cup
happened?
match.
What happened when Shane Warne was sent home in what was it? The 2003 World Cup.
Yes.
What happened? Who won the World Cup?
Australia.
And then you mean to say no? Shane Warne was sent home. That's your bench strength.
Brad
you're
Hogg,
talking of champion teams.
Yes.
You had Brad Hogg. You had Stuart McGill. So many. Even when say someone like Darren Lehman wasn't available, you had a Brad Hodge who would come in and score a double century. Stuart McGill. That is what champion teams do. How many of those players from that era of the Australian cricket team in the 1990s and 2000s?
India also tried that in 2019 when Shikhar Dhawan was injured. They drafted a young Rishabh Pant. Vijay Shankar was in the original squad.
3D players.
Young Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant had played only once at number 4 before that tournament, but he played 4 times. Looking at all that build-up, I think this build-up is better.
But you still managed to reach the World Cup semi-final because the top order was scoring runs. Your bowlers were picking up wickets. You don't know what will happen this time.
This is so.
Is it scary?
confusing. It is scary.
It is scary.
It is scary. Because look, at the end of the day, we want India to come back with the World Cup.
Yeah, I was reading about Kapil. The Kapil have said that whenever India is playing a World Cup, they are favourites. I don't think this time we are favourites. Despite this World Cup happening in India, I don't think India are favourites, considering what is happening right now with all that team management and everything.
Anyway, I'm lost. I'm really lost.
Actually, this has been
like the Indian team
very
management, you're saying.
confusing episode of the podcast, right? As in,
What else can we do? We've been left, bemused by everything that's happening on the field, and the kind of comments that come our way. By the way, is just insane. I hope we get our best playing 11 in line to win this World Cup.
Yeah. KL Rahul
it's
started
not
has
about-
started batting practice and wicket keeping practice.
But
But
Rishabh
he's not
Pant,
going
if
to
he's
the
not
island.
fit enough, it's a race against time for Rishabh Pant, from what we understand. But he'll be a big hole to fill, and hopefully Bumrah is firing on all cylinders, because again, he'll be potentially one of India's biggest match winners, given that he's in full strength and full pace. But for our viewers and our listeners, if you do want to reach out to us, if you're as confused as we are, email us on pods@indiatoday.com and ping us on 8588966996. And also, if you're consuming the Sledging Room on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you might be listening to us, please rate us and leave your comments on the Sledging Room and tell us what you think of this build-up. Is it chaotic? Is it sorted? Is the team management justified? You're not being overtly critical, but injuries aside, did they have adequate backup measures in place? We're just 2 months away. Like I said,
What will be
2
your
months away.
15 for the T20 World Cup in
I have
2024?
no idea. Because you
Let's
don't
not
know
go
that
there.
Ishan Kishan, Sanju Samson,
no,
whether
let's
KL
not-
Rahul-
Let's not go there.
No more dreams.
Too much to ask for.
I mean, Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma wouldn't know. Who am I to venture into that kind of...
Should Rahul Dravid know is a question. Let him
So now you-
let the World Cup end.
Anyway, I hope they have found their answers. I hope they're happy with what they've achieved in the West Indies. I mean, there's also the 5-match T20 series lined up. But that's all that we have. I'm afraid we're out of time. Do join us back next week. I don't know where we'll be at with the Indian team approach and attitude. But obviously, maybe the T20 series will also throw some light on some of the replacement players. Thank you so much for watching this episode, the 63rd of the Sledging Room. Join you back next week. Thank you. Have a great week ahead.